Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shubowale. Our coverage of the coronavirus outbreak begins here in Nigeria, where a third case of COVID-19 has been confirmed in Lagos State. The latest case was announced by the Minister of Health at a media briefing in Abuja, the nation's capital. The patient, a 30-year-old Nigerian female, reportedly returned from the UK on March 13th. She observed self-isolation, developed the symptoms and tested positive. The minister says contact traces is ongoing, but hopes to have very few quarantined because the patient went into self-isolation as soon as she returned. The Lagos State Ministry of Health had earlier reported on its Twitter handle that this is a new case, independent of the index case.
We have a new case, which the stringent surveillance efforts of the Federal Ministry of Health have identified of this new case of a coronavirus disease within our borders, which now brings the total number of confirmed cases Nigeria has ever seen to 3. The latest case is a Nigerian national in her 30s who returned from a brief visit to the United Kingdom on the 13th of March. Fortunately, she heeded all the advisory we have given and decided upon returning home to go into a 14-day self-isolation. But subsequently, she developed symptoms of fever and cough and reported on the 16th of March, at which point she voluntarily called the Nigeria Center for Disease Control hotline to report her condition. Officials from Lagos State Emergency Operations Center were immediately dispatched to her home to collect samples, which upon testing came out positive for coronavirus. The lady is currently at the Infectious Disease Hospital in Yaba, where she has remained clinically stable and is responding to treatment.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, has been given more details on the third coronavirus case in the country. According to Professor Abayomi, the patient's siblings have also been isolated at the Mainland Infectious Disease Hospital in Yaba. He adds that 3 other suspected cases are in isolation because of their travel history and appealed to residents not to panic as the state government is in control of the situation.
We've started the contact tracing process. Thankfully, she obeyed the instructions and she confined herself to her home, where she's only been in contact with her immediate family. That helps us tremendously because it limits our contact tracing to the manifest of the flight, which is BA75, that arrived on the 13th of March. We will be reaching out to every member, every passenger on that flight, as we did with the index case. But while we're making this a public announcement, anybody who was on that flight as a passenger, please feel free to reach out to any of the emergency numbers that I have given you. Those numbers are in the public domain. And we have a toll-free number, which is 08000 Corona. She lived with her parents and 1 sibling, and we have transferred her entire family to the Infectious Disease Hospital in Yaba, where we have a family suite, and we're going to put the entire family of contacts. She is in a different ward, but her contacts are in a family suite, well separated from each other though, and we'll be monitoring them and performing tests on them and body pains. And because of his travel history, we thought it was important that we bring him into the Yaba hospital, where we can monitor him for his clinical features and then run the test. So we admitted him last night. He's doing relatively well. We've taken his samples this morning, and we will know the results later today. We have another traveler from the UK who came back on the 12th of this month. He has been well, but he developed some symptoms. So we went to identify him, and we've taken a sample, and we will run that test today. We have another traveler who came from the Indian subcontinent through Cairo, and that traveler developed a high fever 2 days ago.